Hi, my name is Justin Moffett and I'm a student at UMUC. This presentation is for Data 620 in the fall semester of 2018. Today we're going to be looking at auto sales and specifically, can the automobile industry have another solid year of sales? Let's take a look at some of the data used for this analysis. I've never looked at auto sales data before, but I thought it might be interesting to look at a few variables that may influence and have high correlation on sales. I decided to create my own custom data set using 82 months worth of data, using vehicle sales, as well as three other variables. The Fed rate, which is one of the most influential interest rates in the nation's economy. Typically, an increase in the Fed rate means that spreads are getting thinner, and a higher interest rate will be passed on to consumers, making it more expensive to do business. I thought comparing gas prices might be interesting as well to see how that impacts sales, as well as the changes in the S&P 500 index, which is generally an indicator of the health of the stock market, also an indicator of the health of the economy. Let's take a look at a few figures. Figure 1 plots the sales over time over the past few years. As you can see, there's a lot of seasonality and patterns. Some of the reoccurring low points, it looks like January is a low month, where some of the months like May and December are some of the high points. Down below is the same sales data plotted, but it's split out by SUV and truck, which is in blue, and then passenger and auto, which is in gold below. And I think it's important to split this out because now 70% of sales are from SUV and truck, where it was more of a 50-50 split several years ago. I've also added a default forecast to these lines using Tableau's forecasting tool of using a linear trend line. And the prediction intervals are at the default of 95%. Overall, I agree with these forecasts. I think there's enough data, historical data here, and patterns to be able to predict the next year or so. Figure 2 looks at sales compared with the Fed rate. Instead of just plotting the sales, I thought it'd be more interesting to look at the year-over-year change in sales. And immediately in blue, you can see that there's a downward sloping line. As the Fed rate, which is in the red line, increases, it appears the year-over-year change decreases. Once you start getting several of the Fed rate hikes, as shown in the gray columns right here, looks like July 2017 was one of the lowest year-over-year changes in the past 5 years at 7.1%. And the average year-over-year change was 3.2%. On this chart, you can also zoom in using the time slider to be able to look at more recent months. In this particular view, the average year-over-year change is negative 0.6%. Figure 3 looks at the impacts by gas prices. On the left, as gas prices increase to $2, $3, and then $4, it appears the units sold remains constant. But on the right, if we dig a little bit deeper and look at the type of sale, whether it's SUV and truck in green or the passenger and auto in orange, it looks like there's a $3 threshold where once gas prices increase over $3, SUV and truck sales decrease. Figure 4 looks at the S&P 500 change and the annual sales of vehicles. I've plotted out the year-to-date return if someone had bought the stock in January and where it would end up. So we've had several strong years in the S&P 500 in the stock market, but it looks like it's not impacting the annual sales. If you look at one of the worst years in the stock market, which was 2015, the very next year was 17.5 million in vehicle sales, which indicates there's not much of a strong correlation. I went ahead and just forecasted the change in the S&P 500 as well. However, this forecast I am not in agreement with. I think there's going to be more fluctuation, and this forecast is probably not as popular as I would think it would be. Attached includes my references. Um, these are only a couple different economic indicators. I'm sure there's many more social impacts as well. But can the automobile industry have another solid year of sales? I would say yes, but considering the Fed rate, there may be some volatility. Gas prices may help or hurt sales. They could influence SUV and truck sales, but they could also influence manufacturers making more eco-friendly vehicles. The S&P 500 looks like it's not much of an indicator of sales. I think people are going to continue to buy cars whether the S&P 500 is up or down. Thanks for watching. Thanks. Bye.